Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 4, The Last of the Starks just aired. I will split this review into 3 sections: pros, cons, and final musings, and rating. Just a heads up, if you really like this episode, you probably won't really like this review. One of the things that I enjoyed about this episode was Daenerys' moral dilemma. Will she kill thousands of innocent people to win the throne for herself? In trying to rid the world of tyrants, will she in the process become one? From the beginning, we have seen the ruthless tendencies that Daenerys has, and now that Cersei has killed not only one of her dragons, but her closest friend and confidant, Missandei, will anything be able to stop her from laying waste to the Red Keep, fulfilling the prophecy seen in the House of the Undying, becoming the Queen of the Ashes? Varys and Tyrion also touch on an interesting topic in the episode: the nature and existence of destiny and fate. Does Dany's belief in her destiny in turn create that destiny? Or is she merely delusional? Was she truly sent to remake the world? Or does she have some sort of god complex? She has done extraordinary things, yes, but does that make her divine? I thought this was a great philosophical conundrum, but they only touched on it for a second. Also, I'm really digging Cersei's new costume. I'm glad she went back to Lannister colors. I'm going to pause right here and say, as you guys might know, I was a bit disappointed with the last episode. Because of that, I didn't expect much from this episode, though I have some gripes with this episode. I don't really have any huge issues. I'm going to go from most minor gripes to most severe cons. If you're super hyped about this episode, this is probably just going to sound like a bunch of whining, so do yourself a favor and click off now, instead of whining to me in the comment section about how I'm whining. First, I can't with Jon's little speech in the beginning about never forgetting all the B-list and no-name characters that died during the short night. No one cares about any of these people, and that scene went on for like 5 minutes, mourning these characters that no one really gives a crap about, all in an attempt to make it seem as though the last episode had weight, which it really didn't. Everyone is fine. Their armies are a bit smaller, but they're fine. And then, the scene after that just felt like filler too. Bunch of sex jokes, Daenerys randomly giving Gendry storms in because he's so qualified, and then she's all like, everyone hates me. Well, duh, you're in the north, didn't you already know that? And then Jon continues to be just as clueless, as always. Of course Sansa wasn't gonna keep the news of who he really is to herself. Like, is he stupid? I'll answer that question, yes. The first hour or so of the episode was very much like a soap opera. The dialogue was very, very just meh and just generally uninspired, just like that first episode, just like meh dialogue all the way through. And I also have a huge bone to pick with Jon Snow. As a dog owner, I am appalled by the way he has treated Ghost these past few seasons, and especially in this episode. Jon would be dead if not for Ghost, and he doesn't even give him a final pet goodbye. He just gives him that pitiful look and rides away forever. What the hell? Come to think of it, what was the point of any of the direwolves? They meant nothing in the grander scheme of things. They set them up with all the symbolism to be so important, just to either kill them unceremoniously or brush them off to the side. Poor Ghost is sitting there like, please take me with you, and Jon's just like, peace, bitch. It's so sad. Okay, moving on. I guess Cersei's scorpions have been upgraded. Because, good God, those things are fast and hit really hard now. You know, it's funny that when Daenerys got hit with one of those in the last season, she was able to pull it out with her hand. It didn't even go all the way through Drogon. It barely hurt him. But here, it's like destroying ships. And it's like going right through poor Rhaegal's neck, going right through his body. It's just like, holy crap, they wrecked him and wrecked all of their ships. Like, that's pretty impressive. I'm not sure how that's supposed to work, but okay. Also, can someone help me understand how Daenerys was flying hundreds of feet in the sky and somehow missed an entire fleet of Greyjoy ships? I mean, they were aiming at her so they could see her. Why couldn't she see them? What was she doing? Was she just not paying attention? And I mean, they killed Rhaegal quick too. I mean, they've got some really good aim, except when they like totally don't. And then Daenerys is really good at dodging too. I mean, you would have thought that she would have got pierced by all those spears that she like charged directly into for some reason. But no, she's fine. Dany is a master spear dodger. Okay, final musings. So, Jaime and Brienne, they hooked up. But then Jaime leaves her when he finds out what happened in the south. Now the question is he going to try and save Cersei's life? And don't forget the life of their unborn child. Or is he going there to kill their Cersei and their unborn child? My personal opinion is, in the show, Jaime has never stopped loving Cersei as far as I can tell. He felt like he had a duty to fight the White Walkers, and he's had a thing for Brienne for a while, so they hooked up. But he's always known what Cersei was, and that's never stopped him before. So yeah, he had some feelings for Brienne, but Cersei and Jaime just kind of belonged together. And Brienne could have saved herself some of the heartbreak and just chosen Tormund. Like, he was totally into her. She missed her opportunity, in my opinion, but, you know, that's just my thing. She can do what you want, but personally, Tormund would have been ride or die for Brienne, I think. So, look, here's the thing. My problems with the last episode echo beyond the last episode. Not only will it affect how I view future episodes, but how I view previous ones as well. I have a fundamental problem with how the struggle between the humans and the White Walkers was handled, and because of that, I find it very hard to care about any of this. And the mediocre and predictable plotline is not helping. And it also looks like they're setting up Clegane Bowl, so we have that bit of fan service to look forward to. And it still seems like Arya could be the one to kill Cersei, which is really freaking annoying because it would kind of force Daenerys out of making a decision, right? So if Arya sneaks in and kills Cersei, that means Dany doesn't have to make the decision to burn all those people, which is a huge cop-out. And I think it would just be super lame if they did that, but they haven't done it yet, so we'll see. And I know I'm being a Debbie Downer right now, but I can't not be. The showrunners have really shown to me how much they really don't actually respect the fantasy genre. And they would rather cater to the desperate housewives crowd than actually do something intelligent. I get it. Doesn't mean I have to like it. Doesn't mean I have to shut up about it. Alright, one last musing. I love how Varys is like immediately betraying Daenerys. And then Tyrion just tells Varys. Why would he tell Varys? Why does everyone trust Varys all of a sudden? Like, Daenerys should not trust Varys. And then Tyrion should definitely know not to trust Varys. Like, Varys is like at the top of the list for people that you don't trust. But, you know, Tyrion himself just continues to be just a dummy. Like, that whole speech with Cersei, you know Cersei's not gonna give in. He's like, what about the children? And she's like, fuck them kids. She doesn't give a fuck. Do you really think that was gonna sway her? Of course not. Alright, my rating. I guess this episode gets like a 5. It was meh, whatever, who cares? We'll see what Daenerys does in the next episode, I guess. Next Sunday, before episode 5, episode 1 of my visual podcast with Grey Area, Obsidian Nights, will be released. And the first episode will cover A Game of Thrones Chapter 1, our first encounter with the White Walkers. So you can be looking forward to listening to that if you enjoy my A Song of Ice and Fire material. I also wrote a chapter in The Thrones Effect, how Game of Thrones conquered pop culture. My chapter is about redemption arcs, so I focus on Jaime Lannister, Theon Greyjoy. This chapter was written before Season 8. It was actually written after Season 7. And I chose to write about redemption arcs because that's one of the things that they took from the books and that's kind of adapted better. For instance, Jaime's whole redemption arc is a little different, show versus book, but like the nature of it is similar, I would say. And I would say the same thing goes for Theon. So check that out. Peace out. Oh yeah, and Dany, try some dragon armor. Like, seriously.